My name is Kimberly Janet Garcia Gonzalez, and in this presentation, I will explain the trend of inflation in the United States from 2021 to 2024. We'll analyze what caused inflation to rise, how it affected people, what measures were taken to control it, and what the current outlook is. What is inflation? Inflation in the general increase in the price over time, and it results in a decrease in the purchasing power of money. For example, in inflation is 5%. Sometimes that costs $100. Last year, new costs is $105. Inflation is usually measured by the consumer price index, which tracks the average change in the price paid by consumers for goods and services. In healthy economy, inflation typically stays around 2% per year. You say inflation trend 2021 and 2024. In in 2021, inflation started to increase sharply and went from about 1.4 percentage and January 2021 to 7 percentage by December 2021. In June 2022, inflation peaked at 9.1 percentage, the highest level in over 40 years. After that, inflation began to decline slowly. By the end of 2023, it dropped to around 3.4 percentage, and in early 2024, it stabilized at about 3.2 percentage. The Federal Reserve's target is 2%, so while inflation is lower now, it's still above the ideal level. Key drivers of inflation 2021 and 2022. There were several reasons for the sharp rise. First, COVID-19 disrupted global supply chains, making many products more expensive. Second, there was a surge in consumer demand once lockdowns ended and people began spending again. Third, there were shortages of key components, especially semiconductors, which are essential for electronics and cars. Fourth, energy prices rose sharply, especially gasoline and natural gas. Finally, the Russia-Ukraine war, which began in 2022, caused further increase in energy and food prices globally, making many products more expensive. Impact on consumers. The impact on daily life was significant. People had to pay more for basic goods like grocery, gas, and rent. Wages increased, but not as fast as price. This led to a decrease in real income. In other words, even if you earned more, your money didn't go as far. Many families were forced to reduce spending or dip into saving. Governments and Federal Reserve respond. To combat inflation, the Federal Reserve began to raise interest rates in 2022. The goal was to reduce spending and borrowing, which will lower demand and help slow inflation. The federal funds rate went from near 0% in early 2022 to over 5% by mid 2023. This energy made credit card loans and mortgages more expensive, slowing economic activity. However, it's a slow raised concern about a possible recession. Inflation in 2023-2024. In 2023, we started to see results. Inflation began to fall stably as supply chains recovered and consumer demand decreased. By the end of 2023, inflation was down to about 3.4 percentage, and in early 2024 it was around 3.2 percentage. This is much better than in 2022, but still above the Fed's target of 2 percentage. Forex and outlook. Looking ahead, economists expect inflation to continue decreasing slowly throughout 2024 and into 2025. However, there are risks if oil price rise again or if another global crisis occurs, inflation could return. At the same time, if interest rates stay too high for too long, the economy could slow down too much and enter a recession. So the outlook improves, but is not risk-free. Conclusion: to summarize, inflation in the USA rose sharply in 2021 and peaked in 2022. The main causes were supply chain disruptions, high demand, energy prices, and global conflicts. The Federal Reserve responded by raising interest rates. In 2023 and 2024, inflation declined, but is still above the ideal level. Careful monitoring will be needed in the future.